Days are coming, I'm gonna take that boy's crown. There's a serpent in these still waters, lying deep down. To that king I will bow, at least for now. One of these days are coming, I'm gonna take that boy's crown. 'Cause I am a little wicked. I am, 'cause I am. Hands raised, just like it said. I am a little wicked. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne. I'll be high up in that tower, he'll be down there getting stoned. Beware the patient woman, 'cause this much I know. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne. 'Cause I am a little wicked. I am. Hands raised, just like it said. I am a little wicked. I am a little wicked. I am, yes I am. Hands raised, just like it said. I am a little wicked. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing? How is everybody? What's happening? Well, I know part of what's happening, but how are you guys doing? Is all generally in one piece and hanging together? All those exciting bits and bobs that we all have to do in our daily lives. It's all great. All great. So, yeah, today's been a bit of a mad one, apparently. I'm so glad that you were all able to swing by. It's a little bit unplanned, a little. Um, but there's some stuff and things that need said, apparently. So here we are, everybody. Griffey isn't here. The little hate channel. I had to give them a break considering that it's silly o'clock in Africa. Uh, so this is going to be a little surprise for her whenever she wakes up tomorrow. So yeah, if you don't see me again, you know that Griffey's hunted me down and terrible things have happened after that. I have no responsibility in it. What can I say? So yeah, hello, everybody. I'm glad that yous are all here. Um, so there's a couple of things I want to try and do today. One is, like I said, primarily correct some very, very strange opinions that happen to be around the YouTubes. Again, there's a lot of them. We could do this 24/7, I think, to be honest. Um, and the other part is hopefully to try and show a little bit of interesting footage. Um, because there's, you know, a few things that need some public information to be shared. So let's do this. The second part to that is that I want to try to, because I'm still only learning how to do the stuff and things, um, there's definitely a little bit of a hiccup between my brain, no doubt. What can I say? I'm not going to pretend that I know everything because that's just ridiculous. Um, and the audio output of the stream, because, ladies and gentleworms, I have tried my utmost to make sure that the videos are loud and will play properly. So I think in somewhere in my crazed moments of genius, usually at around silly o'clock in the morning, I have altered some setting, and therefore it's difficult to hear at times. Because having listened back to the stream of the last one, I was furious with myself. I'm like, the video was loud. Why can it not be heard? So today, folks, I'm going to need your patience. Well, I always need your patience and your honesty. That's why I love you all. And when we do get to the video part, I want you to try to help me out a wee bit and see if we can actually hear the video in comparison to me. Um, because we have to fix that. Otherwise, you're never going to understand what I'm babbling on about. Well, who said what will confirm that most people generally don't understand what I'm babbling on about 95% of the time. The rest of the time, they've just left and walked off and went and done something else. So, yeah, that's the plan. How does that sound? See, it's almost like I know what you're thinking. Um, and because I'm not trying to run through all the stuff and things, I might be able to actually see what yous are saying from time to time here this evening, rather than having to watch it all back and try to catch the chat that way. So yeah, let's try this and see how we get on. Woohoo! So first of all, we have some instructional information. Um, Very recently, all the nice little stories that I've been telling you about the history of the perp, um, there's some things that are repeating themselves endlessly, usually the people on our panel, but mainly they're chosen topics of conversation and how they handle their crazy business on the YouTubes. And it seems to be that rather often, if not daily, they forget what they have said at any other previous moment. Now, if I wanted to just upset people, I would suggest they were trying to, gaslight their audience, gaslight anybody who would happen to be viewing the stream. But yeah, I'm such a nice little wicked witch that, of course, I wouldn't say that, or would I? So we're going to use some very well edited footage of someone who can edit a lot better than me. Thank the baby cheeses for that, because If we were waiting on me to edit things, it takes me a rather long time. I'm still only learning. So my good friend, the artist formerly known as Red and Blue Makes Poo, now known as just Poo, just to keep it easy for you, has made lots of handy dandy little videos. Some on the subject of the things that I'm talking about. So, I hate to burst Heidi's bubble, but I know, and it's sad. Um, if you aren't subscribed already to the lovely Pew channel, head on over there. Give them your little subscription. It's worth it, I promise you. Because they make some very funny things. They make some very educational things. And they make some awesome music streams as well. All of the stuff. It's very good, very good. The best poo you will ever listen to, I can promise you that. Not necessarily the best poo you will have, but we'll save that for a whole other day. One of the things that poo covers is the perp. Ta-da! And the perp very recently has taken to saying a few choice words. And apparently, she's very upset because someone told her, you know, that bullshit that was coming through the phone that we were talking about the last time. Apparently, some of that happened today, and some of the bullshit escaped. And apparently, it was initially a police officer, then it turned into a police chief. We're still not quite sure what the complaint was, but somebody has reported purple to the police, apparently. Now, most times in life, as anyone who knows me, I will say that's usually taken it just a smidge too far, unless someone is threatening your life, literally breaking laws. Um, don't waste police time. Don't waste social services time, CPS, Department of Family Services, any of those things. Whatever you have in your area, don't waste their time unless, that somebody is breaking the law. Apparently, someone feels that way, that the perp is breaking the law. And they reported her to the police, apparently. Now, there's multiple different ways anyone could handle any of the things really on YouTube. You can set up a channel, you can make a comment, you can send an email. If it's something deeply egregious, you can report it to YouTube if it breaks terms of service, all of those stuff and things. But due to some unfortunate late night YouTube watching, the perp has taken recently to repeating a phrase from a movie that's about 7 years old right now. Because we know she's down with the lingo, yo. She's got all the lingo, yo. In order to keep that stream lit AF. So the perp made a handy dandy video to condense a lot of the crazy into some very watchable footage. So we're going to try that. And like I said, the first bit, in order for me to make sure that you guys can hear this, what I would really like you to do is help me out here and tell me if you can hear it as loud as you can hear me, or if it's super duper quiet again compared like the previous two streams. I need to try to fix that if possible, or fix the computer by smashing it. One of those two things will happen. So we'll see how we get on. Um, so let's try that. As you can see, I put their link in the chat, the lovely Pooh channel, and we're going to share one of their handy dandy little videos on the perp. I've still not got the right one. Bear with me. My good lord, my good lord, I was talking to you guys for ages and forgot that I wasn't on the stream, never mind the stupid video. Sorry about that. Look, look. The little hate channel is asleep and I've been left alone to my own devices. What do you expect at this point? To be honest, the fact that I haven't made something explode by now is usually a good thing. Hello, everybody. So let me try that again without leaving you all in silence for ages. As I was saying, in order to give everybody a little catch up, the channel that we're going to cover this evening is covering another channel. And that's where we overlap. We sort of have a shared interest on on the same crazy sector of YouTube. There's a channel that I will refer to as the perp, and the perp apparently had a phone call today from someone reporting to be from the police. Not quite sure the police where. Um, that wasn't exactly stated. I would be able to share all this with you, but they did that thing they claimed to hate the most and they dirty deleted their video because it went very badly that stream. But you know, people record things, so I got time. As I was saying, apparently this reported police person from an unidentified area had received a report about the perp from someone. Now, anyone who's had a dealing with the police or any basic knowledge, very, very basic knowledge of the legal system in most of the Western world will be able to tell you that if someone reports you to the police, usually they will not give you the name of that person who has made the report unless there is very unique set of circumstances. Those circumstances were not met, so the perp put out her little purple fishing rod on the YouTubes and then started accusing anyone and everyone. I was honestly waiting for her to just start listing every channel on YouTube alphabetically and accusing everyone because it was getting to that point. Um, so Harp put out her little purple fishing rod, and things went very badly from there on in. People were being threatened left and right. People were being accused left and right. It was all very dramatic, all shocking. As usual, Heidi, hi everybody. If you could just wave to Heidi from the chat again, I would really appreciate it. Show her some love, give her a little wave because she always feels very left out and lonely. So if you just give her a wee wave, that would cheer her right up. So hi Heidi, hi, how you doing? Hi Unseen. Hope your dog is still alive and not on the treadmill. Um, hello to all the hate watchers. I appreciate you. You've made me rather important, and I love it. I love it. So, not yet, Shelley. Just a wee wave. You can disguise it in amongst the other fingers. Be discreet. Be creative. Um, uh, apparently, a lot of people don't like me very much, and that's fine. There's times where I'm not very likable. Only a crazy person thinks that they're lovely 24/7. I'm not literally lovely, but that's a whole other subject. Um, Most of us are usually aware that we have moments where we might say something that either upsets someone on purpose or it upsets someone because they didn't understand it. It might upset them. I love you, wee Scottish mom. I love you so much. um, that yeah, that people just get annoyed sometimes. You might not even realize you've done it. But there's some people who desperately search to find the offense in everything. And I think Perp has managed to find them all and corral them into one small area. I'm glad that the goats have escaped from there and that the escaped goats will now be happy and free and live their best life. Hopefully, more goats can be created. We will try to free them at will and very possibly the squirrel. So, let me try this again and see if I can do it without screwing the whole thing up this time. That would be nice. That'd be lovely. She says very confidently. But now I closed the video because that made sense in my tiny brain. So I just need to resize this to make it slightly more usable for my little stream because, like I said, I'm still a little bit like a demented monkey just hitting buttons. Just amuse yourselves in the process. Yes, we probably need umbrellas, possibly prophylactics, just in case, always be prepared. Some handy dandy wipes, a mask, just in case. Bring everything, pack a bag. It gets messy around here. So, as I said, this is Pooh's channel, and the link was there, and I'll keep trying to drop that a few times because they're very, very good at doing all the clever things. And like I said, if you can't hear it, you'll have to tell me. Pooh has sped the footage up in order to be able to comply with all of the wonderful things in the copyright regulations. So if there's any sound issues, please let me know, and we'll just try to I'll try to figure some of that out with your help. Okie dokie. Breathe away. Breathe. Breathe. It's all gonna be okay.
Do what you feel you have to do, but the only thing I'm saying is I'm not responsible for what will happen if you do. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm not threatening nobody with the fucking DOD and my husband. So unless you got a fucking clip and a timestamp, I don't want to fucking hear that bullshit.
Okie dokie. So, was that still ridiculously low? Because I'm relying on you guys to tell me. Because, yes, it was still ridiculously low. Okie dokie. Let me see. Let me see. Aha, I think I may have figured it out. Possibly. I could be lying. We'll soon find out. Okay. Attempt number 487. Let's give it a wee go. And yes, yes, bubblegum. Hiya, hiya, everyone. I need bubblegum to walk along the bottom of the screen holding up a playing card with like the six of spades or something. Although listening to the volume that has been on the previous streams, that was probably the two of spades, I would suggest. So let's try again.
Do what you feel you have to do, but the only thing I'm saying is I'm not responsible for what will happen if you do. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm not threatening nobody with the fucking DOD and my husband. So unless you got a fucking clip and a timestamp, I don't want to fucking hear that bullshit. You can get the fuck over that bullshit right the fuck now.
Okie dokie. So, did I fix it? Is it better? Is it worse? Did I kill all the electricity to a small town somewhere? Have I burst anyone's eardrums? Any of those things. I'm not saying I will accept legal responsibility for all of it, but if I've done it, just let me know. Because yeah, whatever I had hit to make things less echoey and less weird somehow made them super duper quiet on the stream, which was very annoying. And it's better. Yay! Woohoo! Yes, Pearl, you're very, very naughty. You're not really naughty at all. Pearl, I am so proud of you today that if only you had realized, if only you had realized quite how much confidence in you the rest of us have, you would say a lot more of the stuff and things, but girl, you made me super proud today, and I hope you understand that. And you still did so in a much less sweary fashion than I would be able to accomplish, which will come as no surprise to anyone. Um, and yes, probably Griffey and Stella won't have power till possibly 2027. Sorry about that. So for only $17, we can sponsor an African to be allowed to live stream again, because otherwise I'll be very lonely and very unhappy, and the little hate channel would cease to exist. So, on that little intro, you have the perp saying a wee while ago, just to keep everybody up to date, that she had been so sick of the threats and the terrible things, possibly attached to shoes or goats, we're not sure, that were happening on the YouTubes, that she was just sick of it all and she was going to tell her husband. Da da da, the big scary husband. That's fine, tell your husband. I don't think most of us would have a problem with that. One of Perp's first streams that you will find on her channel, Perp tells you that her husband works for the DOD. Not that he's employed by or what his job title is, but works for the DOD. So this was a year ago. Since then, there have been a lot of things that we'll cover in due time, but just to bring us right up to date, the perp was very, very upset and was going to tell Mr. Perp, who works for the DOD, to just handle it. But in order for people to behave themselves, she wanted a timestamp because she didn't really think she had threatened people with the DOD and their legal department, which she did several times, as we'll get there. Apparently people just made that up in their little heads all by themselves and came to the same conclusion, which is pretty amazing. So this all happened entirely independently, where people in different countries listening at different times under their own steam somehow came to the same conclusion that she had said all these things. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. So, as it would turn out, she did indeed say the thing. She has not just implied them, she has said them outright several times, some of which we're going to listen to. So let's carry on with Pooh's handy dandy little video.
You asked for it, Purple. So here's the clip.
Whoever the fucking shit channel is, I am going to find out who you are, and I'm going to have you. You're gonna get in trouble too. Yep. Because you people think I was fucking kidding where my husband works. My husband's not a fucking janitor. I'm telling him to report all of this through the fucking federal government. He works for the fucking Department of Defense, you dumb fucks.
So there we go. Part A of this happy story. That apparently, and to use the same words that the perp used, dumb fucks, you all need to know that Mr. Perp works for the DOD and he's not a janitor. I'm sure we're all relieved to hear that because apparently that would be a terrible thing. Not quite sure where she would get the idea that that would be bad, but yes. So people are going to be reported to the federal government via the DOD, possibly with some sort of liaison effort with the legal department, and they're going to handle it because that's how the Department of Defense legal department functions on a daily basis. It exists in order to stop the terrible, terrible videos that were being issued by Red and Blue Makes Poo, now known as Poo, because apparently they were so bad. I'm sure whichever person gets that call will look forward to it immensely and will not be traumatized from it because handling it is going to be a whole problem. Now, again, without asking for a show of hands, many of us have family who work within police force, military, even the government in our various different little countries. Not one of us would put their job at risk by A, bringing some YouTube nonsense to their workplace because that's crazy. And B, if they're a good employee, that would speak volumes for itself because people can make strange issues all the time, and I'll leave it at that. But apparently, the federal government The DOD, this phantom legal department, are just waiting to handle the YouTubes. So you're all on notice, dumb fucks. Who has already been issued a very serious warning here. Serious warning. I'm not quite sure whether it's one of the Joint Chiefs of Staff that's going to turn up, whether it's going to be a lawyer, whether it's going to be a secretary, possibly the janitor. Again, remains to be seen. It could all get very exciting. They may bring puppets as well, because quite frankly, at this point, it would make just as much sense as anything else. So let's go back to Pooh's handy dandy little video. And as you can see from the screen, Pooh was playing some footage that is freely available to anyone on the internet, especially American citizens, to let you know what are some of the very basic contractual obligations of any governmental employee. And as someone in the chat just very rightly pointed out earlier, there are many subcontractors that are employed by military services and departments of defense, departments of justice, the police, all over the world. Because quite frankly, no country has the infrastructure to be able to hire all of the people they need. So yes, DOD, DOJ, legal departments, janitors, possibly a goat and a squirrel, they may have shoes, but we're barely a minute in and terrible, terrible things have happened already. So, are you seeing a pattern forming here now that you can hear the video for once? Woohoo! I'm so pleased with myself. um, let's get back to the handy dandy footage.
Done. I didn't want to fucking do this, but now you guys have put me in the fucking position to do it. I'm done. I am making the phone call here in a few minutes to my husband to tell him to get them involved. Good job, Purple. And they will investigate everybody to the fucking fullest. Guess what? I won't have to fucking pay for a lawyer because the government will fucking track it all down. You guys thought I was fucking kidding you. My husband runs 2 fucking departments. And now you've pushed me to the fucking limit. I'm done. I'm making the fucking phone call as soon as I end this live here in a few minutes. And you know what? Y'all made your fucking beds, now you can lie in them. And that goes for everybody that's ever fucking come after me. You all will be fucking investigated. So.
So yes, again, we've all been duly put on notice, but especially Pooh, especially Pooh. You've no idea how difficult it is not to laugh every few seconds when I'm listening to this, because it's just nuts that an employee of the DOD, we're still not sure doing what, and again, doesn't really matter, is apparently going to make a complaint to the legal department because their wife had some videos made about them on YouTube. Now, can you imagine quite how busy our governments would be if they would be handling YouTube bullshit? There's quite a lot of it that happens on a daily basis. Doesn't make it right, but it happens. And for someone such as the perp, who is so keen at telling everyone to put on their big girl panties and handle it, She threw her big girl panties out the window, and now Mr. Perp is going to contact the legal department of the DOD because he runs two departments, and that's how it's going to be handled. Are we all on the same page? It will make no logical sense. I promise you that, but does my semi explanation of it make sense as much as we can? It's crazy. Literally crazy. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. I'm so glad to see you all. Um, so yeah, let's get back to the legal department. There's a few people in the chat that will be extremely amused by the crazy fuckery levels of this. And let's hear how the DoD legal department are going to handle this terrible situation. By the way, just as an aside, in case, and thank you, Tangeray, I appreciate you so much right now. I always do, but right now you're a legend. Um, One of the videos that Pooh made was one of those face swap videos, basically, of the Three Stooges. On that, they placed Perp's face and two of her other panel members. So the federal government, the DOD, the legal department, and two departments that Mr. Perp runs are going to be handling a video of the Three Stooges with the Perp's face on it. Do, um, yeah, I'm just going to play the video now so I don't say something that'll get myself into trouble. Don't want the legal department coming after me, yo.
I hope you have nobody to blame but your fucking selves. You don't know nothing fucking about me, but you will now. I promise you, you will regret ever fucking doing anything to me. I've given everybody plenty of fucking chances to fucking stop and leave me alone. Now it's over, because I'm done. And I don't give a fuck if I even host either one of these fucking YouTube channels. I am done. Why don't you go ahead and report? Because I'm done with these fucking idiots online. Go ahead.
Okie dokie. Now, what the perp was saying there is essentially quite right, chat. I love you. And again, I'm still not mentioning your names as much as possible because there's a lot of very angry people around right now. And if they want someone to shout at or someone to report to the DOD legal department, they can find my channel and find me. And that is, I will cope with it. I don't mind if it's the janitor. He might be nice. Could be the sprinkler dude. We're unsure. It might just be the goat. But yes, the perp is done. She is done. It is finished. And that was the last we heard of that story. Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We never heard any more about the legal department and the DOD and the threats of the federal government by the wife of someone just because they had a Three Stooges video made about them on the YouTubes. So that was the last we heard of that, right? Wrong. So yeah, what you're about to hear now. Yes, Tango. I'm hoping to get there. Um, that what you're going to hear now is one side, apparently, of the initial call of Mr. Perp being informed, while Perp is live streaming, to just go legal, yo, to report it to the legal department of the DOD and the federal government. It could be a very interesting situation that the perp is about to land herself in. And I mean that, land herself in. I think, as most of us would realize, what she is doing right now is not exactly what you would call recommended behavior for her own well being. So let's hear what the perp has to say. I know, right? I mean, it's hardly believable at all. I mean, it's almost like it's pure bullshit. But let's hear the call. Let's hear the call. It's very, very good. Mr. Perp is going to get told to do all the stuff and things. He's going to be able to write it down on a little post-it note and be able to run straight across to the legal department, and the FBI will turn up at the door. That's pretty much how that's going to work out. So just stay tuned. You stay tuned. You'll be able to hear all that on the call. It'll be amazing.
Report it to your work.
On the phone with
Just
her
the same
husband.
bullshit. I'm being threatened. Somebody put my fucking court records out online last night. I'm done. Well, and I'm tired of the fucking threats. So go ahead and just contact the legal department and have them fucking handle this. I'm done with it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. All right. Okay. Sounds good. No, I'm with you. I already did last night, but I got some more shit to send to them today, but so. Alright, I will talk to you in about an hour. Alright, love you, bye.
So there we go. Mr. Perp has been given his orders by the perp to just handle it. She is sick of all the threats. She is done. The threats that include a video of the Three Stooges, apparently, because that's super threatening, right? Super threatening. I can't wait until the legal department get to sit and watch Pooh's videos. I think they will find them very informative. Apparently, they've already been watching The Tavern, but we'll get there. We'll get there later. So yes, we didn't get to hear Mr. Perp's side of the conversation. I mean, he realistically, a right-thinking mind might suggest he could be saying anything on that side. He could be talking about what to have for dinner. Have you got a temperature? Is this a fever dream? This is a nightmare. Why am I listening to you talk about YouTube again? He could be saying any of those things. But what at least the perp is saying is that she's done. I think we've got that. The threats are terrible. The undefined threats, but yes, the threats are terrible, and the legal department can just handle it. Okay, so back to the perp, and we'll see how she gets on with this. Now that she has informed Mr. Perp, and he is marching over there with his little post-it note.
Hope you're happy, guys. You got what you wanted. So, I told you I wasn't fucking playing no more. Do I want to know? Yeah, my husband worked for the Department of fucking Defense. I wasn't fucking kidding. So now come at us. Come at me, come at my husband. And see, just fucking see what's gonna happen. Because guess what, boo? The government don't take too lightly to threats to government employees or their wives. So, hope you like lying in your bed. Because you just made it. So, since it's Friday, we might have to wait to, file till Monday. But guess what? So,
Okie dokie. So, you were all warned. Most of you didn't realize it, but you were all warned. Especially the dumb fucks. And apparently Pooh. And possibly a batch of other people, but again, they remain nameless. As a legal contract and a legal issue of notice, this is quite poorly written, almost. And as some of you so helpfully pointed out, it's almost like the worst telenovela we have ever witnessed. So yeah, Mr. Perp is handling business. But the perp wouldn't have done this if we didn't make her do it. Everybody made her do it. She, yet again, has absolutely zero responsibility in any of this. She can only do things depending on the every whim of the internet, specifically YouTube, specifically the people who mention her name. So, I mean, we could all try it out and see. You could ask for things, you could ask for gifts, you could ask for donations, you could ask for a postcard, you could ask to be sent a lot of things, to be honest, an Amazon wish list, all of the things. Because apparently, once you say a thing, anything, that is taken as a threat, and therefore perp has to act on it straight away. Straight away. No choice, no questions, nothing, no interference from anybody else. Straight to the legal team at the Department of Defense, because Mr. Perp runs two unnamed departments. And we cannot have people making Three Stooges videos on the YouTubes. Okay? You made this happen, everyone. You did it.
since it's Friday, we might have to wait to, file till Monday. But guess what? I'll have to go sign the papers because I'm not going to do it today, but just know you done crossed the wrong bitch. You thought I was kidding, but I'm not. Like I said, I'm going to wait for the sheriff to call me back, and I'm making a report for the threats, and then that will be given to the government legal team. The balls are rolling now, bitches. The balls are rolling now.
I'm still waiting for the knock on my door.
So if we didn't already have enough to handle with squirrels, scapegoats, copious amounts of shoes, the occasional bullshit coming through the phone, we now have to deal with rolling balls. There's apparently the ball is a rolling, and now we have to handle it. So if you could all get prepared to be ready to handle the rolling balls, that would be good, because the government legal department now, I mean, they've only got the one. There's only one lawyer. He's very, very busy. Well, he or she. We're not. We're equal opportunities now. He or she, Zimzazer, could. They're just a very busy person, doing all of the things, watching all of the YouTubes, rolling balls, tracking down goats, watching Three Stooges videos, handling YouTube drama, because they haven't got anything else to do. Okay? This is what your tax-paying dollars are going on. Bulls, scapegoats, bullshit coming through the phone, and possibly the legal defense of a squirrel. So we were on notice that very day. This was weeks and weeks ago now, guys. So, weeks ago, she was asked for a timestamp where she's ever threatened anybody. Couldn't believe the audacity of people suggesting that they may have listened to her own words, because, God forbid, we know her own chat don't listen. Her panel don't. Hopefully the lawyer that works for the government will listen to those words, because as you will see, some of them are very interesting choices of words. For someone who so cavalierly throws in the legal department with its one lawyer for the entire American government, DOD, DOJ, the janitorial department, the other two departments that may or may not be the janitorial department, possibly the sprinkler systems. I know that won't make sense to some of you, but some of you will understand. Just go with me for right now. It will make sense. So yeah, that's part one. Handily presented to you in a little nugget with less than 4.5 hours of huffing, puffing, cigarette breaks, buggering off to do some random nonsense, as she often does every day on a live stream. And we're all on notice. So how do you feel about that? Were you prepared? Did you already know that the government legal department was looking for you? Did anybody realize that this was happening? If you didn't know, I'm surprised that they haven't given you a little call or sent you a little letter, turned up to the house, any of the things. I'm sure they'll get round to it eventually. They're still very busy watching YouTube videos. So whenever they've got through with that, they'll probably get cracking with it, I would imagine. It's definitely not some more of that ominous bullshit coming through the phone that she was talking about earlier. It's definitely not that at all. I'm just curious about. I'm just curious about how people would feel if they lived in a different country. Because again, for anybody who has watched Perp's stream, there was an incident a while back on an entirely different channel. And a person from the UK was at risk of imminent harm, apparently. Heidi, again, if you could all wave to her in the chat. Hi, Heidi. Hi. Hi. How are you doing? Heidi. Heidi and Perp and a few others had claimed to know all about this lady. They had claimed to have her name, address, shoe size, what she'd had for breakfast last Tuesday, favourite flavour of crisps, and what she likes to read on a Tuesday afternoon. So, armed with all that information, you would think they would be able to get help for this person at risk of imminent danger, right? Well, again, apparently you would be wrong. Very, very wrong. Not one of them, not one, could figure out how to contact UK emergency services, despite knowing that a few people, both in her chat and at least on YouTube, were from the UK. You would almost think that someone armed with that information would ask for assistance in contacting the emergency services if you didn't know how to do it yourself. Apparently they didn't. They were able to make a very long live stream about the dire drama of the situation, though. That was fine. They just couldn't muster the energy to use Google. The little Facebook warriors with their group messages sharing everyone's private, personal information that Perp hates so much. She hates that when it's her information. But if it's our information, it's fine. So hopefully, when the DOD, federal government, DOJ, Joint Chiefs, FBI, local sheriff's department, and goodness knows who else listen to my video after they've got through watching all the other YouTube videos, I would suggest that you would look very directly into the digital communications of that household. You may find some interesting internet traffic that is coming out of that household. I'm not quite sure Perp has thought about how well that's going to go for Mr. Perp, no matter where he works, no matter what he does. Especially if some of those people do happen to live in other countries that would have slightly more strict rules on private information. Won't matter who sent it to you. Again, for example, the perp has been very proud to admit that a one-time friend of hers, who we'll save for another day, a one-time friend of hers who she obviously doesn't speak to anymore. I mean, don't be ridiculous. I mean, it's not like you maintain contact with people. They just disappear and you never think about them again. That's how that works. So this person disappeared. But a few months ago, several months ago in fact, they had sent the information of another YouTuber to the perp. It's a bit weird, right? Their address, what their house looks like, pictures that they could find on the internet, their business. It's all a little bit strange and weird. So hopefully, when the DOD, DOJ, federal government, next door's cat, and possibly the squirrel manage to look into all of this, they may be curious to know why these people are stockpiling the information of not just one YouTuber, but subs, members, any other commenter on YouTube who has the audacity not to bend the knee in front of the purple throne. I can tell you there's only one thing I'll be doing at the purple throne. And I'm pretty sure Pooh already got there first. So yeah, maybe that detective, possibly police officer, possibly police chief, she wasn't quite sure today. She kept saying a lot of things that was on the phone call from today. Maybe they'll be able to look into some of that. I would imagine they'd find that interesting. Very, very interesting. And again, for Heidi, unseen, but most especially the perp. Let me make this very clear. There is no one putting your families, their jobs, your medical insurance, and any other benefits that you may have, your salary at risk, other than yourselves. So I'm pretty sure that once the legal department looks into that Mr. Perp's going to need a new job. I reckon that there's going to be a lot of that. So for just $17, you can sponsor a perp. Because quite frankly, she's about to fuck herself over in the most royal fashion that only a perp could do. Yeah, not quite the dick on demand. No, no. Although if you've watched any of the perps streams recently, there's been a lot of unfortunate pain to be seen. Because apparently someone who's been on the internet for multiple years still doesn't understand that porn bombing happens. So yeah, I mean, if dick on demand is what anyone is looking for, they can just go on ahead on over to Purple Phoenix and tune in to usually one of the evening streams. But I mean, at this point in time, it could be any time. The pains are everywhere. Apparently, they're on the loose. No doubt, the lawyer that watches those videos, because I don't think she realizes she would have to show them all of her privated content as well. I think you will find those somewhat educational and much beneficial. So yeah, there we go. So that's video number 1. Okie dokie. Hopefully, Perp's little hate watchers will find a lot of this very interesting, because it appears that a lot of them miss every occasion that this happens. I'm not quite sure how they do that. They could have been lying in their beds, that, as Perp previously mentioned, the beds that have been made and therefore that they were lying in, that could be happening. Several other things could be happening, mainly just that people don't pay attention. It's almost like these people get upset when other people with a clear mind can actually remember the lunatic things that have come out of their mouths. And some people even make amazing little videos on it. So again, we're going to go with the amazing Pooh before Pooh gets banged up in the broom closet, apparently, for crimes against the YouTubes, for making videos about the Three Stooges. We can't be having that. It's unacceptable. The legal department will handle it. And all of the dumb fucks and their squirrels are on notice.
Or private the live, I have the URL. It doesn't fucking matter. They can still be struck. And just because you're not monetized, I video them all the time. You still get 3 strikes and they're deleting your fucking channel. So
So, Now, for those of you that will have missed it, perp is very good at explaining the social contract and legal contract that we all enter in as we become YouTube users. It doesn't matter whether you view, comment, make content, pop up on a panel. If you have a YouTube account, you agree to the terms of service. Now, perp does some very handy dandy explanatory streams on what those details might mean. But just in case anybody didn't realize, the YouTubes can take anybody's channel at any given moment, but especially after 3 strikes have been made. And that's it. You're terminated. You're gone. Possibly sent to the janitorial department via the legal department. You may even be demoted as far as the squirrel. It's hard to tell at this point. In this particular video, the perp is threatening not just one, but multiple other people. But one of the people that she's threatening is, oh, wouldn't you know it, yet again, another ex-friend. I know, it's shocking, shocking. It's almost like the friends really aren't the problem. It's it's perp. Her judgment in many things is somewhat lacking because, well, I think as you'll be able to see from this video, some of the information that she can provide is severely lacking as well. So very, very recently, she was definitely not threatening this person. Definitely not. No, no. Definitely not threatening them. Not alluding to it, not suggesting to it. Certainly has not suggested, oh, but apart from the fact that she even did a live stream about it, which I will cover, suggesting that this ex-friend, who now has a deceased son, that they were going to cover the death of the son, obtain documents, do a little YouTube investigation, and that somehow the perp and her panel seem to think that that's perfectly normal. Now, I'm not quite sure about any of the rest of you. I haven't felt the need to email everyone just to check. I'm sorry to hear that, Cindy. Love, sorry. I'm glad that everybody's putting some wee prayer hands and love into the chat. No, 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 don't apologize. I'm still really bad at reading chat while I'm ranting. We love you very much, Cindy. Cindy's son, let's forget what I was saying a minute ago. Cindy's son has been very poorly recently, and to cut a long story short, I think even just from the tiny bit that anyone can see there, they're having a difficult time. So lots of love and support to you, Cindy. And as usual, if there's anything any of us can do, even if it's for a laugh, a giggle, a rant, a shoulder to cry on, whatever the thing you need is, we are here to do it. And I'm sorry, love. I'm sorry. Okay, from the serious back to the ridiculous. again, the perp had threatened the ex-friend with putting out all of their most tragic, personal, painful, and generally recent bereavement out onto the streets of YouTube purely so that they could be an asshole about it. Because we can see from anything I have showed, anything that Pooh has to show you, anything that they would have to say themselves, really, that between the lot of them, they couldn't muster up the energy to be able to construct a useful sentence together, never mind an investigation. So the perp was threatening, but not threatening, but threatening, but not threatening, but threatening the ex-friend with all of these things, and somehow thought that would go well. Hopefully, when the DOD, DOJ, federal government, FBI, possibly the president's secretary, apparently the ball boy with the rolling balls, the squirrel, everything, when they all listen to this, I hope that they take note that the wife of an employee is threatening people on the internet. That's interesting. So again, she's got people's personal information, private information, and now she's going to threaten this other person. But just before we get that far, she's going to suggest to the ex-friend that they do something. The ex-friend is going to get some advice from the perp because the perp has watched a movie. Well, I'm not quite sure if she actually watched the movie. She at least watched a clip of it on YouTube. That's basically the same thing, right? Now, again, no judgment, no shame. I don't care what your personal interests are, whether you watch comedy, documentaries, weepies, daytime TV movies, whatever the things are. But when the person in life you choose to quote on a daily basis is Medea and cannot understand the irony of the words that are falling out of your mouth, accidental irony, but irony at that, that sounds like your problem. Maybe the legal department will get one of their whiteboards and help you understand it. Because God knows the rest of the internet has tried to help you already. So let's see what handy dandy advice the perp has for the ex-friend. See if you can spot anything. Now remember, perp allegedly had a phone call today from possibly the chief of police, possibly a police officer, not quite sure what the complaint was, who made it, where they were based, what it was about. She was able to do a live stream about it, telling everybody about it, but wasn't sharing information. Make what sense of that you will, because quite frankly, it didn't make any sense. So let's see this wonderful advice. See if you can spot anything here.
keep it up. I mean, maybe you guys should go read YouTube's terms of service.
No. Let's listen to you read something. It's more fun that way.
These YouTube partner program terms, the basic terms, together with YouTube terms of service and YouTube channel monetization and any models, whatever, that you accept together the terms. All right, 1.
So, a little bit of an unplanned break there. Again, I'm fighting with myself not to laugh. Don't laugh, don't laugh. And just to be clear, for the people that don't understand it, I am not mocking someone's lack of English ability. However, if you know as a human being you have a disability, usually most people will at least make arrangements for themselves, whatever they may be, whether it's a physical issue, a mental health issue, a comprehension issue, whatever it might be, to allow themselves to make an adaptation to be able to do things. So if you would happen to struggle with reading, I would strongly suggest that if you're going to read out the terms of service, i.e., a legal document on the YouTubes, it doesn't matter whether they were actually YouTubes, whether they belong to Apple, whether they belong to a McDonald's burger. If you're going to read out terms of service, A, perhaps read them first of all, in the privacy of your own home, in your own time, with your own understanding. B, you could take notes. Ask Mr. Perp for a few of those post-it notes and see how you get on, because we don't want to fill up your handy-dandy notebook just on the terms of service. C, if you claim to have a brain injury and therefore a difficulty with understanding the written word, pronouncing the written word, putting a basic sentence together, doesn't matter, all those areas in the brain are slightly different, but let's not go there. We'll do that another day. If you're going to claim that, get someone to help you. Again, Heidi, that watches every stream I do. Hi, Heidi. Hi, how are you doing? Heidi has 2 degrees. Heidi would be just your girl to be able to help you understand all these things, because apart from doing a little bit of colouring in, she's not doing anything else. So she might as well give you a hand to read some things. That's what a good friend would do. Not be gathering the address, pictures of their home, pictures of their children, of other YouTubers. They would help you to understand information before you make a complete arse of yourself every fucking day. But then again, what do I know? So now that you've heard a little bit of the muddles of the YouTubes, Perp's going to carry on with her handy-dandy advice, and we'll be able to hear what she suggests that we all take note of. Again, because we're all grouped into, I'm not quite sure whether we're all dumb fucks, whether it's just me, whether there's a list, whether we signed a contract at some point, I'm not quite sure. But she's just letting us all know, just so that we understand. So if you just all pay attention, you may not have realized it now. Love you, Chihuahua. Love you. She's going to explain the rest of it. So if you need some handy dandy advice, she's your girl.
All right, one. How these terms work. Monetization of your content on the service is governed by the terms, including one or more models, which specifically the terms that apply to monetization of different types of.
Okay, I was wrong. That wasn't fun. Let's get back to it.
I'm so sick of fucking Tony playing fucking professional fucking victim along with Tabby.
Tony's in chat, by the way.
Oh, shit.
Grab the link, bitch. All right, grab the fucking link, bitch.
I blocked her, just so you know.
Grab it. Snatch it up, ho. Call the popo, ho. Snatch
Bring
it up.
it up, bitch.
I will drop every
Oh,
fucking person on this channel, bitch.
Can
Come
you
the fuck up
actually
here.
Amy,
function at this time of day?
shut the fuck up.
Come on,
She must not
come
do
on,
that.
Nobody
because I know you
understands
sleep
you.
at like fucking 8.
I gotta take this medicine, guys. I'm gonna nod off and, my husband's gonna be pussy whipped and stay on and listen to me. Come the fuck on up here. Ain't nobody fucking
Bring
scared of
your
your
ass
dumb
up.
ass either. So,
You're a fucking asshole.
come at me, bitch. Grab the next fucking plane to Moline, Illinois, ho.
And
Make
you're
sure you
being
ain't got
an
no
asshole
dog
right
shit
now
up
because
off
you're
your
a
floor.
fucking asshole.
Because I.
Okie dokie. So the person who needs the entire resources of the federal government, DOJ, DOD, the janitorial department, possibly animal control. She's now handing out the legal advice to you on the YouTube terms of service, yo. And as you can hear in the background, not for the first time, there's someone on Perp's panel mumbling rather incoherently. That doesn't really help matters. So while Perp is threatening people, there's an incoherent mumbler, but if we can just focus on the Perp, we'll get the handy-dandy legal advice.
Heard vintage left because you had too much dog shit on your floor.
You're the dumb bitch that believes everything you hear.
Just saying. Screwed.
Hold on, wait. We got Robin.
Grab the link, ho. Call the
Purple.
popo, ho. How about that, ho? Mr. Tony's fucking pussy whipped as ever fucking pussy whipped could be.
Now, I'm not quite sure whether Perp read this in a legal document Perhaps someone had written a dissertation on it at some point. Whether she's been deep in the legal journals. But Medea is perp's frame of reference for legal advice. So her legal advice was to call the popo ho. And there she is, mocking people for being scared. And if you're scared, call the popo ho. Apparently, ho. Someone called the feckin' popo. Shocking, I know, right? It's almost like you told them to do it, perp. You've spent months doing this. Months telling people to call the popo ho. And according to you, no one else, because we've had no proof that this has actually happened. But according to perp, someone called the popo. I'm not sure if it was a hoe or not, but again, we're just going on Purple's information. We can't take too much of it for granted. I'm pretty sure that's trapped somewhere in the muggles of the YouTubes. So let's carry on and see what more advice the ex-friend, now hoe, gets from the very well-informed panel.
When's the last time you actually fucked your husband, Tony?
everything.
That's the real question. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't nobody got time for your stupid ass.
But yet all you do is talk about Tony.
Don't block her, but ain't nobody got. Let's just let her make a fucking fool of her damn self up in here.
Kind of like what you do every live.
Keep it up, Tony, because I'm fucking scared of you. Why don't you get in your fucking car and fucking make the trip to Iowa, bitch? That's what I fucking thought, you scared ass bitch. Oh, how do you know? I fucking sleep with my husband every fucking morning before he goes to work, ho. Play with me. Oh, I'm gonna fucking prove it? No, bitch. You ain't never coming up in my motherfucking bedroom, you nasty fucking sicko.
Now again, without asking for a show of hands, I'm not quite sure if any of you ever studied law or any section of the law, depending on your chosen profession. But called a popo ho is as far as purpose got. So with that, someone took Perp's sage advice, and in amongst the terrible mental anguish of the images of Perp and her husband getting down and dirty, yo, on a daily basis, yo, before they go to Costco, ho. Apparently they called the popo. Strange. It's almost like they did just as you wished. So if you need an internet psychic, you can head on over to the Perps channel, because apparently she knows all the things and can get you a good deal on some Costco goods every couple of weeks.
Wow. What do you want me to send you a fucking tape, you fucking nasty ass bitch? Honey, you ain't crazy. You're just stupid.
That very unfortunate sound that you heard would be one of the many times daily that perp sucks back mucus and makes a very unfortunate both biological choice as well as an unfortunate sound. But yeah, she's the one we're taking advice from, everybody. So apparently that's what you do. You definitely don't be muting your mic. Definitely don't go and blow your nose, especially if you just recovered from pneumonia, apparently. Apparently Tyler Perry hasn't done a movie to cover these aspects of physical health. Perhaps he'll get along to basic self-care at some point to teach people on how to blow their nose. But at least we've got as far as Kolapopo. I'm not even quite sure if there's hand washing happening there, but we'll save that for another day too. So yeah, she's who we're taking advice from. Remind you of anyone, anybody? Remind you of anyone? I'm pretty sure it does.
Ain't nobody fucking scared of you. Like I said, hop the motherfucking plane. Moline, Illinois, bitch. I will pick you up. And it's time for you to take your medicines. You should have been asleep by now.
No.
Purple ain't fucking triggered. Purple's having herself a good old motherfucking time.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Bitch, and please, don't give up your fucking day job. You fucking sound like absolute fucking nails on a fucking chalkboard, a dog shit and razor blades with your fucking fucked up. You don't even know the fucking words to the songs you sing, you dumbass.
Okie dokie. So, as you can see, things derailed there slightly. She's sort of, I'm not quite sure whether it's the excess mucus, because apparently there's an awful lot of snot going on there. Or whether it is any of the issues she claims to have, whether it's just a lack of understanding, whether it's the poor legal advice of the federal government, DOJ, DOD, random police officers, and the squirrel. But at least we get to go to Costco. So now that we all know we're dumbasses, dumb fucks, if you call the police, you need to be a hoe. Nobody else can call the police. So if you work at anything else, I'm sorry, you can't be calling the police. Only hoes can call the police. Yo. Does it strike anybody as a little odd that this is a bit of a strange way to handle someone that for the past year you've been saying is a dear friend? I find it a little bit weird. Just a little. Almost childish as fuck, yo. So for just $17, we can sponsor a perp to hopefully buy some industrial self-care products to be able to expel some of the mucus, because quite frankly, I'm not quite sure the squirrel can take any more of it. So now that the popo are well aware, thanks to the YouTubes, of how perp behaves, let's catch up with the rest of this.
Okay, hit me up, bitch. But I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
My husband and I do have lots of sex, so
Fucking sex my husband every fucking day. You dumbass hoe. Play with me.
I think you can see why I chose this video now, because their editing was A, what was in my head, and B, way funnier than I could do without needing to take 2 weeks to do it. Because unlike some, I can admit my limitations. So, call the popo ho. Perp and Mr. Perp are just banging every day, which is great. Congratulations. Happy for you both. It's obviously not making Perp any happier, but apart from that, we'll leave that to another time. But she gets a Costco trip out of it, which is great. But again, talking to the ex-friend like dirt, that's really weird. Really, really weird. And while she's talking to the ex-friend, she's talking to the ex-friend about their sex life, while she's talking about her sex life. So now that she has talked about her sex life on the live stream, nobody else is allowed to talk about it. But she's on YouTube on a live stream talking about it and talking about other people. If anybody can get the squirrel to learn to use the whiteboard to help explain this to her, I would be eternally grateful. Because quite frankly, I'm not quite sure how much more any of this can take. And rap, if you have any sort of friendship with Perp at all, please, we beg you. Your country needs you right now, rap. General awareness, so there. I'm asking you to help your country. Please, save the DOJ, DOD, Joint Chiefs, and the legal department from watching the entirety of YouTube. And send Perp one of those handy dandy little roses that you're sending to people. Because, quite frankly, she's miserable as sin. And I'm not quite sure that Mr. Perp is hitting the spot. So it seems like some help is necessary. So no pressure, rap. But your country needs you right now. Please, we beg you. Send Perp a rose. We need you to do this. The DOJ, DOD, the janitorial department, and possibly Costco all need you to do this.
Ain't nobody fucking scared of the fucking peanut gallery. Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't. Ain't nobody fucking scared of
I'm
her.
not scared.
No.
Should we be scared of a fucking person that never leaves her fucking house?
Like you?
Like, seriously. Tell me what the fuck I'm supposed to have nightmares about. You don't leave your fucking house, Tony. So what the fuck am I supposed to be scared about, bitch? See, we wasn't even talking about you. You had to come over here and get some attention. Fucking crap.
Cry baby. She don't know how to fucking remember words to songs either. Oh, but she's had a stroke all of a sudden.
Yes, it could well be the janitorial department at Costco, possibly maintained by a squirrel. Um, so Perp, who admittedly has nothing else to do all day apart from hang out on YouTube and do a few basic home tasks, which must be nice. We're happy for her. But apparently, she has somehow found the need to criticize anyone else that may be at home. Now, the only other place apart from Costco that Perp has admitted to going is occasionally for medical treatment when necessary, which is a good thing. Oops, I hit my mic there. Sorry about that. I'm glad. I'm glad that she's going for the medical treatment. That's a good thing. Yo, keep that going, yo. Go see the doctor, ho. But apart from that, the only other place she goes is to see her parents, and that's great also. That's a nice thing. She can't see the rest of her family because she spends most of her time physically fighting with them, but that's neither here nor there. Again, this arbiter of knowledge on the YouTubes for the DOJ and all the squirrels is going to continue to tell us her ex-friend, next door's cat, possibly all of the goats, how to behave on the internet. Because as we can see, it's working out real well for her. Yo ho. But you're only allowed to call the popo if you's a hoe. Apparently. I think I got that right. I think.
I've been friends with her for a fucking year. She ain't had no fucking stroke.
It's okay. She won't remember this tomorrow either.
Right,
No, she won't.
What you got next, ho? Oh, Lenny, why don't you go hop on a dick, bitch? You guys can block the fucking cunt. Bye, ho. Call the po-po, ho. Hey, Tony. You know, you keep kicking people out that come over here out of your channel. Bitch, you ain't gonna have anybody left. Just saying. You're so fucking jealous that I surpassed you fucking months ago. That you so fucking butthurt that's all you can talk about is my numbers, ho. You know, Mr. Torrance, he at work, so he got himself fucking somebody on the side that ain't fucked up in the head. Oh, you can play at that game, can't we, Tony? Tony's toxic true crime. Yeah.
So from that little nugget, as you can see, the perp is now a qualified medical professional. She can diagnose any medical situation from never having physically met a person before, which is quite a skill. I would strongly suggest to the Joint Chiefs that they hire Perp and the Squirrel and see how they can utilize that service for mankind, because quite frankly, that's a gift that medical science has not quite achieved just yet. So hopefully they will be able to use this extreme talent that she has. One slight drawback may be her bedside manner, because as you can hear, Her tone and choice of language leaves a lot to be desired. And unlike her, most of us have had to have jobs, a career, responsibilities, and not been able to lie on our back and able to go to Costco. But yeah, everybody else is a ho-yo. And with that, we've realized that we can behave differently in different places. But it's still our responsibility on how we behave. So we've gone from legal advice, explaining the terms of service, medical diagnoses, and just generally abusing people on the internet. Now, hopefully, the police officer, and again, not sure whether it was a police officer or, as she said, police chief. Not quite sure if she was watching The Simpsons. But whichever one of those supposedly reached out to Purple, hopefully when they watch the YouTube video to help explain some of this to her, because the rest of us have tried and failed. We are only mere mortals. We do not have the gifts that the perp has. And quite frankly, somebody needs to help that squirrel because, good God, please, free the squirrel. Not just free the wee, free the squirrel. So let's get back to Dr. Dolittle over here. See how she's getting on.
Toxic ain't the fucking word for it. God, believe Tony, or are you too much of a pussy? Come on, ho. She would know the fucking not drama if it smacked her in the face like a fucking dick. You didn't prove fucking not a motherfucking thing, Tony. Shut the fucking. Wow, you fucking more fucked up than I thought. Show it, prove it, Tony.
Come on, Tony, can you
Shit.
just give us one storyline and stick with it?
Funny coming from you. You Hans Christian Andersen s bitch.
Exactly. Oh my God, Purple. Bitch, you done fucked up. You done crossed me. When I had your fucking back loyal as a fucking motherfucker.
Thing, didn't you, Heidi Ho? What are you talking about?
So I'm not sure what you make of that. But in a nutshell, the perp has now transformed into Dr. Ruth. She now can also diagnose the sex life of another human being and any relative issues merely on a YouTube conversation, which is quite the skill again. So between that and diagnosing strokes and any other brain events, she's got quite the set of skills. And as you can see by the wonderful editing skills of Pooh, and one of the reasons why I had to stay muted for an extra few seconds there was that cracks me up every time I see Hans Christian Andersen. Because I know it won't come as a shock to any of you who have watched the perp, but to any of you who've been lucky enough to escape it so far, there's a common theme that happens that usually most of her contributors. Yes, Jesse. I'm trying not to do it. I'm really trying. um, Most of her contributors have what you would call a very loose grasp on reality, uh, even looser still on any facts, possibly looser still on their own bowel movements. Who knows at this point? But there's all sorts of unfortunate things happening, but she's going to tell all of the things. Okay? Right. Back to Pooh's perfect video.
She don't fucking know. She's too fucking medicated to understand what she's even saying. Hey, Mr. Tony, why don't you grab the fucking link too? Yeah, my dog don't shit on my motherfucking floor.
That's because you leave it outside day and night.
Nasty ass. How many lives have you picked up dog shit and bragged about it? That's nasty. And then you didn't even fucking mop. Gross. A Swiffer or something, you nasty ass. Your house probably smells like fucking dog shit and piss. Like, gross. You can have your big old house that smells like fucking dog feces. I will have my little house that don't.
So, as beautifully pointed out there by the perp, she's quite the defender of animal welfare, apparently, and cleanliness standards. From someone who admits that she only vacuums her own floors once a week. She's now dishing out advice on when to mop. Please do not use a Swiffer on any poop remnants on your flooring. Please do not do that. I beg you. If we need to do a whole official Black Rabbit style cleaning hints stream, we can do that. But I would strongly request that anyone with poop on the floor does not use a Swiffer. In fact, that would seem to me to be a very bad idea. But what would I know? This is the woman who has given us the very serious and sage advice to call the popo ho, yo. And is apparently able to diagnose everyone and their sex lives, all medical issues. Get a little bargain at Costco. And just do that all on the YouTubes. All while being ably defended by the legal department from the Department of Defense. Brilliant, brilliant.
Motherfucker gangster people. You motherfucking gangster now, bitch. Bitch, I'm been more fucking gangster than you. Shut the fuck up. You all talking all no fuck. You're like a fucking chihuahua. All bark and no bite, bitch. Hey, Tony. Hey, Tony, dumbass. Did you hear what Mr. Purple said before he went to bed? He said he had to go get his sleep so he can conspire against you. Now let's see if my hooked on phonics ain't worked for me yet. Any criminal or civical.
Hooked on phonics clearly didn't work for you.
She must have bounced. She got a little scared. She's running with her tail
passed
between her
out.
legs.
I think she passed.
Yeah, that too probably. That too probably. I think you got hit with a fucking stupid stick. over here talking like you're fucking gangster. I'm sorry, you know, only thing that comes out of Indiana is fucking serial killers. You gonna come at me, bitch? Oh wait, no, you send Frank to do your dirty work.
Just like you used to do.
Thought so. I ain't slurring my speech. Oh, for
I
fucking
got a
Tony.
stick in my throat. No, I
Oh,
had a
hey,
cough.
at least I got my husband's dick in my
Oh
throat.
God.
Thoughts, anyone? Now you understand, hopefully, why I wanted everyone to see these videos. A, they explain the situation. Well, as best as any human can, really. B, they have the essential ingredient of a sense of humor. Otherwise, quite frankly, I don't think any of us would cope with any of this. We've been reminded not to use a Swiffer to clean up dog poop, despite what the perp says. But she has strongly recommended if anyone has an issue, doesn't matter whether it's civical or not, to call the popo ho. Not so fabuloso, no. No fabuloso. Stop it, you brats are gonna make me laugh. Please stop. I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to be all serious. So yeah. In the guts of 10 minutes, poo saves you multiple hours of your life draining away by watching her cover all of this. Because quite frankly, that's what we're all trying to do, to share this knowledge. What you choose to do with the information afterwards, if you want to go and sub to Purple, you're very welcome. She will be glad to have you. You too could be a glitter ninja. Or you can choose to save yourself, ho. It's up to you whether you call the popo ho. But please, please do not be using a Swiffer to clean up dog poop. I beg you. Now, in amongst all of this, in today's craziness, there's another person that cropped up, and I mentioned some of I mentioned some of it in the previous live stream, and you probably couldn't hear much of it, so I'll try and cover it again with slightly better audio. Not right now. But one of the perp's new loyal companions is a lady called Colleen. Now, Colleen doesn't like me very much, and that's fine. I'll take it. But Colleen has multiple issues, and despite some of the other humour on this panel, there's a few things that need to be cleared up pretty sharpish. So Heidi, hi Heidi, hi everybody. If everybody could wave again at Heidi, because God love her, she doesn't get enough attention otherwise. And, you know, it helps break up the day for her in between painting with her little acrylic pens if we can all keep her entertained. So, hi, Heidi. Hi, how are you doing? And if somebody could hopefully check in on Unseen's dog to see if it's still in one piece, preferably breathing, that would be great. Maybe the police officer will do it. We're not sure. But lovely Colleen, aka Colleen, aka Lovely 62. And I did that on purpose. That was real. um, she has many issues in life. Many issues. But apparently she has been listening to the perp and possibly Heidi and has taken their sage advice, and this is a very good thing. Very good thing. I'm going to explain to you why. Because Colleen fails to make herself very clearly understood at times. And the few things she does choose to share with people usually verge on some version of the story where she has had the unfortunate loss of 2 children at one time, long ago. Now, unlike perp, we're not qualified grief counsellors for the most part. No matter what our training or our forte is, we know better than to give out diagnosis, psychological information on the YouTubes. But there also comes a point where, just like Call the Popo Ho, no, you're right, Eliza, I'm just choosing not to say it. Well, at least that's what she has said. I'm just choosing not to talk about it. Because as I'm about to show you, she's a very angry lady. Now, I can understand her being angry after such a loss. But again, this good friend, good now ex-friend of Perp's, that she was saying to just get over the fact, and Perp, I have the live streams where you have told your ex-friend to get over it. The death of her son, which was only 2 years ago. But Miss Colleen is very angry because of a parody that happened over on the We Hate channel with Griffey and myself. And for some reason, Colleen has a complete lack of understanding that the fact we are mocking her is nothing to do with her unfortunate grief, but entirely has to do with how she conducts herself. It's almost In order to make this understandable for Unseen, Heidi, any of the hate watchers, and the perp, it's just the same problem that perp is having with her ex-friend Tony, where Colleen makes everything about her and her grief, apparently. Now, I find it very strange that when perp is friends with someone, they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want. If you're not their friend, perp gives us the rules. We covered those on the last stream. Some of them, not all of them. I don't know why that is not let me show that. That is very annoying. Let me try this. Let me try it this way. Let me try it a different way. Okie dokie. No, that still didn't work. So I'm going to try it one more time and see if I can make the darn thing work. Because quite frankly, that would be nice. Oh, come on now. Rome wasn't built in a day. We've only learned to call the popo and clean up poop with a Swiffer. We cannot be expected to learn all of the technicalities all in one moment. Don't be ridiculous. Hey, look at me being all technical and shit. Let's just pretend like the previous 5 minutes didn't happen. So this little snippet, I'm going to save Colleen some embarrassment. Now, if she gets someone else to show her email, that's her choice. This little nugget is only being shown because it mentions both myself and Pearl. I showed it at the end of the Drinky Drink video, the last stream. And it says, I do not know Pearl or Ewok's email addresses. So perhaps you can tell them they are cruel, heartless pieces of shit. And so are you. You should all be ashamed of yourself. And I hope karma comes back to bite you one day. I'm not quite sure if the squirrel is called karma, whether it's someone that works for the legal department, unsure. But this little section of email was sent to the little hit channel and to someone who wasn't saying anything. Correct, Pooh, correct. I love you. Wasn't saying anything about Colleen at all. And yet they chose to email them. You may as well have emailed the Joint Chiefs and asked them to tell Pearl and myself that we are cruel, heartless pieces of shit. Now, if I was a cruel, heartless piece of shit, there are so many things I could say right now. But I'm going to give you one final chance. And unlike perp, that's not going to be a threat on how to call the popo ho. But it's going to be some basic advice. Because as you will see, there is more exciting communication from the fabulous Colleen, aka Lovely 62. Uh, uh, uh. Thought I managed to shut everything there, hence the slightly surprised sound of my voice. I covered that so well. I'm super slick. Yo. Okie dokie. This is not what I was looking for, but it's what you're going to get for a wee second till I find what I was looking for. I'm a little bit like you two there. Still haven't found what I was looking for. Yeah, you get it. You get it. You see where I was going with this. So, call the popo ho. That was the sage advice given by the perp. Apparently, Miss Colleen took this advice very, very seriously. And I would suggest if someone is doing some illegal things, that is a very good idea. But in the meantime, she has decided that leaving multiple emails, comments, to anyone and everyone, whether they had anything to do with the situation or not, somehow along the line she has decided that's a very good idea. And it's also part of the reason why I'm doing this without Griffey. So it is entirely my responsibility. Because unlike her, I know the difference between one channel and another on YouTube. Unlike her, I can tell the difference between one person speaking and another. And unlike her, oops, I'm not running around trying to threaten people on the internet because I got my little feelings hurt. Perhaps Perp can get her new friend, Nicolina, to give her some advice on how to handle hurt feelings. While she's figuring out how to do that, there is something that is crucially important, despite all the general fuckery that has happened on the YouTubes and on my stream. This will go down as badly as I can imagine, but it's important. Let me see. No, I've managed to screw that up. Let me see if I can do it. Let me see if it works. On screen, you will see the very non-comedic and very serious advice and contact details for Alcoholics Anonymous UK. It's a free phone number. This is not a joke. There's no funny quip to go with this. I am not at all trying to belittle this situation, because it is important that people who do have a dependency issue find some way to get control of their life back. I would strongly suggest that someone who doesn't understand the difference between a joke where they are mimicking your voice and the fact that people may be irritated by them because they were telling people to go and do away with themselves. I think they need some serious help. They have admitted multiple times that they are reliant upon alcohol to, quote, numb how they feel. So please, Colleen and anyone else, if you need help with a dependency, please reach out to people. There are organizations, free organizations in your area that can help you. In the UK specifically, Alcoholics Anonymous has a free phone number 0800 9177 650. They also have an email, and we know you know how to email people, Colleen. The email address is help, HELP, at aamail.org. Please reach out to them, Colleen. Not for my benefit, but for yours, for your adult son, for your grandchildren. Reach out to them. None of us are guaranteed tomorrow at the best of times. Your life is being severely jeopardized every day that you rely on alcohol to get you through. And if you claim to have the issues that you do, you're clearly someone who needs some more serious advice. YouTube is not the place to get that help. Alcoholics Anonymous can help you. If you need help more locally, I'm sure your good friends who do such a large amount for you, apparently, can do that very easily. But please, that's not a joke. Please reach out to them. Because you're hurting people. Your addiction, your foul mouth, your behavior, your very, very unbalanced behavior is making you into a laughing stock. You are doing it yourself. So, now that we've covered that, we have one last thing to show you. One last thing. I'm sorry I'm not getting it to look terribly slick, but I'm getting there. I don't even know if that's showing up. Goodness gracious me. Nope. These things are sent to try me, and try me they are. So, it's important. I appreciate you all for bearing with me. Quite frankly, how any of you are here right now, I'm not sure. But at least we know that unseen And Heidi will be able to take all this straight back to the people who need to know about it. Aha! Ha ha! So, on the screen, you will see 3 messages that were left one after the other, today, after she'd been on live stream, after she had talked to the person who explained to her what had happened during a parody, an unplanned parody, not a sketch, not a written, organized, filmed, choreographed, orchestrated screenplay. These comments were left this afternoon, well, this evening, UK time. So I hadn't said anything else. It has been explained to her multiple ways, multiple times. And yet Colleen still doesn't understand that A, we were not ridiculing your 2 deceased children. I repeat, we were not. Myself, Pearl, and in the background Griffey, neither of the 3 of us were ridiculing your 2 deceased children. However, your behavior as a human being is very questionable. And whether you accept it or not, Colleen, rather than berate you, rather than do several streams dragging you for filth from one stream to the next, we chose to handle it with some humour. And again, whether you realise it or not, Colleen, just because other people don't go from panel to panel exposing their life traumas does not mean they have not had them. And in fact, if you realised just how ridiculous you are making yourself look, you would be very embarrassed. I hope it is just the alcohol that makes you behave that way. Quite frankly, if your good friends that have done so much for you care for you in any way, they need to give you that number that I read out, the email address that I read out. Please go and get help. If you, as an English person living in England, wish to contact law enforcement about me making, even if you decide they were the most horrific of comments on YouTube, I would strongly recommend that you do that. So please, go on ahead. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to ask you to stop. I'm not going to engage in conversation with you. You have my full permission. But after you've called the popo ho, or even if you don't do it, every time that you choose to expose yourself on a panel, people will have something to say. You're lucky that the worst you've had to handle so far has been, at worst, someone making fun of your voice and how you present yourself. So just like the DOJ, Joint Chiefs, the janitorial department, the sprinkler systems, the squirrel, all of the scapegoats, Colleen, I strongly suggest that if you have any legal dealings to be handled, go ahead and do that. But you're not going to threaten me, and you'll not be threatening Circle Jerks, and you'll not be threatening Griffey's channel. If you have a problem with me and the things I have said, handle it. Take it to court. Contact the police. We live in the same country. But do yourself a favour. Sober up before you do. You don't believe it's her writing the comments? I can show you the screenshot of it being her account. Or do you mean that you think someone is encouraging her to write the comments? Is that maybe what you mean? I'm just checking just to make sure. But yeah, considering that we know that several of Perp's channel have watched the Circle Jerk streams, they will know full well things that both Pearl and myself have said, either there or in various other panels about our personal lives. So you may want to reconsider this victim situation you have going on here, because it's not what you are trying to portray it to be. Colleen. Yeah, no, I think I'm with you there. I'm deliberately not mentioning you by name right now or putting your comment on the screen because I want these people to take note. So yeah, please take a minute. I know things got very unfunny very quickly, but it is important. Please, Colleen, if you listen to nothing else that I have to say, seek help. Seek help for your dependency issues. make a better life for yourself, your son, your grandchildren, before it's too late. YouTube is not your counselor. YouTube cannot help you with that in entirety. Please reach out to the people who specialize in it, those people who have walked that path before. It's free. Because quite frankly, you have everything to gain by getting your life on track. So yeah, there we go. I know that was about as hilarious as a verruca removal from your private regions. I mean, I can't really think of anything more discomforting, to be honest, at the moment. But these people want to sit back and do nothing all the time as they watch the very people that they care about get into trouble, and then wait for 6 months, watch that person dissolve into a very sad version of who they once were, and then wring their hands. So maybe instead of explaining to you how to do a super chat, it would have been more beneficial for these people to give her the advice that she needed. Get sober. Get help. But just to bring us all back together. If I actually get it to work. Doo, doo, doo. Nope, that's not the right one. That's not the right one. That's not the right one either. I'm doing so well at this. Where's the little hate channel when you need them, for goodness sake? If you happen to get arrested, there are lawyers out there to help you. If someone has taken the sage advice of calling the popo ho, you can call a lawyer, yo, on 1855 WTF popo. They're experts. You see, look at me with all my helpful phone numbers and shit. I'm very educational today, everybody. There was more, but I've decided to release you all from your misery because you've all been here long enough, and I appreciate you for it. I deliberately killed the vibe this evening, Tanga. It was a little bit of a bait and switch on purpose. They wanted the information. Now they've got it. They couldn't Google it. So, as a one-time offer, I'll give it out there. It may not help the person that I mentioned. It could help somebody else entirely. I don't know. Is it funny? Not at all. But quite frankly, I don't care whether these people stay angry at me for the rest of their days. What I do care about is that at least they somehow get their shit together. Right, Eliza? I mean, there's so much I could say about that. I'm deliberately trying to skip some of it on purpose so that, again, if the perp and her panel of crack researchers, possibly methed researchers, but if they need to have someone to blame for all of this, it's me, wee frosty Ewok. If you have something to say, if you need to make a police report, if you need to get a lawyer, if you need to contact the janitorial department or the squirrel, please do so. But good God, stop making an arse of yourself on a daily basis, because quite frankly, perp, you're not helping yourself, you're not helping the people on your panel, and we will cover the events of today at a later stage. Did the Popo ask you if you were a hoe, perp? Just curious. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they do that or not. I don't know. um, you make it so difficult not to say these things out loud. But yes, I love you all very much, and I'm going to call it a day there. Hopefully, the next stream will be slightly more laughs and giggles. I hope you understand why I couldn't make that important bit slightly more comedic. But everybody deserves a chance. What they do with it after that is their choice. So get off the meth, you and the squirrel. Stop harassing the poor person in the legal department with a post-it note. And just as a parting shot, by the way, perp, no proof. So it didn't happen, right? You haven't shown any proof that you received a call from law enforcement. No audio. You didn't take notes. There wasn't an email. So it didn't happen then, right? That's what you would tell anyone else. It's almost like that bullshit that's coming through the phone has got its way into your head. But again, that sounds like a you problem. Call a popo ho. And on that very unhappy note, everybody. Has anybody got any questions before I release you all from this misery? Or shall we all just be grateful for the fact that we've escaped and keep going? Right? Well, maybe we can look forward to that on a different live stream. I'm sure somehow this call will magically appear at some point. I'm sure that will be riveting. It's definitely not like anybody would make that up or anything. It's not like that's ever happened before on the YouTubes, but we'll see. Again, we'll see. There's so much to cover, and there's so much that can be said. And yeah, a lot of people are being dragged into this that have nothing to do with it. So hopefully the popo will be able to get a hold of the goats and the squirrel, get a deposition from them. We'll get to the bottom of this, yo. Okie dokie. Right, on that happy note, you're all dismissed. Godspeed on the YouTubes. Be safe. Be happy. If you see one of the goats, treat them nicely. If you see a squirrel or a squeaky dog, please contact the relevant animal care. And if you need to, don't forget that you too have to be a hoe to call a popo, yo. Good night, everybody.
One of these days are coming, I'm gonna take that boy's crown. There's a serpent in these still waters, lying deep down. To that king I will bow, at least for now. One of these days are coming, I'm gonna take that boy's crown. 'Cause I am a little wicked, I am, 'cause I am. Hands raised, just like it said, I am a little wicked. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on the throne. I'll be high up in that tower, he'll be down there getting stoned. Beware the patient woman, 'cause this much I know. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on the throne. 'Cause I am a little wicked, I am. Hands raised, just like it said, I am a little wicked. when you're sitting on a throne. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne.